two teenage boys to kill their Fairfield High School Spanish teacher. The murder of a beloved high school teacher. Her body, with severe trauma to the head, was found hidden in a local park. And now two 16-year-old students have been charged as adults in her killing.
Welcome to Fairfield, a small town in the state of Iowa. A typical Midwest town surrounded by lush crop fields and a beautiful landscape, known for its rich cultural diversity and entertainment venues. Dubbed as one of America's best small towns by the Smithsonian Magazine, with a population of more than 10,000 people, this tightly knit community is home to the scenic Loop Trail that encircles the city and the Sondheim Center for Performing Arts. This town checks all the boxes for a must-visit destination. The peace and tranquility of the region would be cut short as a Spanish teacher from Fairfield High School, Nohema, 66, would meet a tragic end to her life at the hands of not one but two cold-blooded killers. Join us as we unravel the mystery that surrounds the murder. What could anyone have against a teacher? What were the events that followed? Was anybody caught? This video will answer all your budding questions. You'll be left shocked as we uncover the perpetrators of the crime that no one ever expected. In the early days of her life, Mexican-born Graber worked as a flight attendant and later as a pilot for the Mexicana de Aviación airline. In 1990, she moved to her then-husband's town of Fairfield, Iowa. She earned an English degree and was an alumnus of Iowa Wesleyan University in 2006. She first taught Spanish at atWould High School until 2012, then at Fairfield High. She'd been teaching Spanish for 9 years at Fairfield High and was loved among her colleagues and students. Throughout her career, she instilled a love for the Spanish language and culture in countless young minds. To this day, former colleagues of Nohema share heartfelt stories of her dedication, passion, and unwavering commitment to education. One of her students even praised her during National Teacher Appreciation Week, sometime prior to her death.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, Mrs. Graber. Thank you for all that you do in and out of the classroom. We really appreciate how much fun we have in your class and how much Spanish we learn.
The horrifying story begins when Graber was reported missing on the 3rd of November, 2021, by her ex-husband, when she didn't show up home the night before or for work that day. Police found her body the same day and identified her as Nohema Graber that same day and sealed the crime scene. Her body was found inside Chautauqua Park, under a tarp and wheelbarrow. Police found and detained the likely perpetrators of the crime on the same day it was committed. You may be wondering who could it possibly be that wanted her dead? Well, the investigators were quick to identify the suspects. They were two teenage boys who were Graber's Spanish class students. Police released an account that uncovered many secrets the general public was eager to know. Hey, just a friendly reminder. If you're new to this channel, we post crime-related documentaries all the time, so consider subscribing if you want to keep yourself updated on our next release. It's always free, and you can change your mind whenever. All right back to where we left off. The teens, namely Jeremy Goodale and Willard Miller, were taken under police custody as suspects in the crime. Hearings started at the Jefferson County Courthouse, Fairfield. Prosecutors said that Miller had a meeting with Graber the day of the murder to discuss bad grades in her Spanish class. That evening, eyewitnesses told police that they saw two white males driving Graber's van near Chautauqua Park. The van was later found abandoned on a rural road. Miller tried to refute the evidence and said that he wasn't the one that killed Nohema Graber, claiming that a group of masked teens had forced him to hide Graber's body and drive the vehicle away from the crime scene. Yeah, all right, kid, you ain't fooling no one with that alibi. The police had another lead. Friends of the teen showed authorities Snapchat messages that detailed Graber's killing. However, the authorities denied releasing the messages to the public. It was later revealed that a baseball bat was used to carry out this crime. The autopsy further backed that statement up as it was reported that Graber died due to blunt force trauma on her head. Goodale later turned into a state witness in order to testify against Miller that he received a bad grade in his Spanish class and decided to murder their teacher, trying his best to put the blame on the other suspect entirely. Both teens later pleaded guilty to Graber's murder. They testified and admitted to killing their teacher. It was reported that Goodale served as a lookout while Miller delivered the first blow. When he found out that the first one didn't kill her, Goodale decided to end her with a second one while she was in pain and agony. Imagine seeing your own students that you taught and cared for ending your life. All that over their own incompetence in a school subject she was wholeheartedly trying to teach them. Such brutality and savagery can be found even to this day. Both teens were 16 years old at the time of the murder, and they were now successful in ruining their lives and spending a long time in jail for what they'd done. They both testified for being sane and having no psychiatric issues beforehand. But what kind of student kills their teacher over a bad grade? They'd been caught red-handed. Teachers are like your parents at school. They take care of you, teach you about the world, and serve as guides for people throughout their lives. Such a despicable and horrendous crime was definitely something this community had seen for the first time. The investigators ended up making a mistake in the case. The law states that a witness who is a juvenile can only be interrogated after the parents give permission, to which the mother of one of the teens said that the investigators didn't allow her to talk to her son before or even after his interrogation.
Would you have granted permission for law enforcement to speak with Shaden if you knew there had been a homicide?
Not without a lawyer present.
Would you have granted permission for law enforcement to speak with Shaden if you knew he was a suspect?
No, not without a lawyer present.
Nonetheless, while both Jeremy Goodale and Willard Miller were 16 at the time of the homicide, in Iowa law, anyone 16 or over charged with a forcible felony is automatically waived to adult court and is then tried as an adult. Prosecutors suggested a sentence of between 25 to 30 years in prison, all the way to life in prison. Sadly, they're eligible for parole. Miller is scheduled for trial in April, and Goodale will face his trial in May. The two suspects are in jail on a $1 million bond awaiting their trials. For now, society is a little bit more peaceful with two murderers behind bars. In the aftermath of the murder, the Fairfield community gathered to pay respects to the fallen teacher. Many mourned and left flowers and bouquets inside the park entrance where Graber was killed. A service was held at the school where she taught. We can safely say that there were three things she focused on the most during her life: her students, her family, and her faith. A packed auditorium sang grace to remember Nohema Graber. Nohema's son, Christian Graber, also shared a few words from his mother's notebook. She'd written a sort of oath for herself, exclaiming that as teachers, we should always strive to be an optimistic role model for our students. And even if her students forget about her Spanish classes, they should always remember how and why they should smile to life and be honest. Emotions were at a high. Most of the audience was sobbing. Christian went on to say that he forgives the teens for their actions. Such kindness from Graber's son indeed showed how much of a beautiful upbringing he had. Graber's daughter also posted her mother's pictures and felt sorry for the teens who took away their mother. That's all we have from the Spanish teacher murder case. Make sure to tell us in the comments which case you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe.